during Elul, there are different customs. One is you blow the shofar every day. Another one is that you read a special psalm at the end of Shacharis and Mariv, through Hoshana Rabbah, through Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot, etc. And the psalm you read is on the bottom of page 192, 193, 192. And we read it in Shul, the David, Hashem, Mori V'Yishi. Oftentimes you just kind of read it, we don't know what we're saying. So I just want to show that this psalm has two sides to it, and they're kind of diametrically opposed. So it switches on the bottom of page 192. The first part, so I'll read it out loud. The Lord is my light and my salvation. God's going to be whom shall I fear? God's going to be my light. I'm not going to fear anybody. The Lord is my stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When evil men close in on me to devour my flesh, it is they, my enemies and foes, who will stumble and fall. Everything is great. Full faith, trust in God. Should an army besiege me? My heart would not fear. Should war break out against me? Still I will be confident. So confidence is the essential piece here. It keeps going. One thing I will ask of the Lord, only this I do seek, to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and worship in the temple. For he will keep me safe, this is for sure, in his pavilion on the day of trouble. And if he will hide me under the cover of his tent, meaning if things go wrong, he's going to pull me above it or shelter me, protect me from it. He will set me upon a rock if there's dangers around me. Now my head is high above my enemies who surround me. I will sacrifice in his tent with shouts of joy. I will sing and chant praises to the Lord. That's really complete confidence and trust in God. That's the first part. And the second part transitions to a different attitude. And I'm starting in the middle of the last line. Lord, hear my voice when I... Wait, wasn't Lord always going to hear your voice? So here's this different vibe. Hear my voice when I call. Be gracious to me and answer me. Weren't you already answered? Apparently not. On your behalf, my heart says, seek my face. Your face, Lord, will I seek. Do not hide your face from me. Well, you just said God's not going to hide his face from you. So why are you saying that? It goes on like that. Do not turn your servant away in anger. And that's kind of like the general gist of what keeps going. You have been my help. Do not reject or forsake me, God, my Savior. And you can go on and see, but that's kind of like the two sides to this mizmor. And so why are we reading this? What's the explanation, and why are we reading this around this time? So if you pay attention around Rosh Hashanah, so the sages say that the first words of this psalm relate to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. It says Hashem Mori is Rosh Hashanah, my light is Rosh Hashanah, and my salvation is Yom Kippur. If you think about it, the holidays they're really different. They're almost kind of diametrically opposed in some ways, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, because on Rosh Hashanah, we don't do any tshuva. We don't bang our chest or anything, right? We celebrate. We eat a lot. We have extra food, simanim, apples and honey. Yom Kippur, we don't eat anything. Yom Kippur, we're crying, we're pleading, we're begging all day long. On Yom Kippur, on Rosh Hashanah, you're not allowed to mention sin. You're not really supposed to mention or talk about it. So really, those two aspects could be reflected in this mizmor. The first part is really that trust in God. It's really like a Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, what you're doing is basically you're saying, I believe God's the king. I believe God will always remember us. You blow the shofar to remember God. You're basically remembering God all the time. Everything's great. Or at least your faith is very strong. Second part, though, is maybe connected to the Yom Kippur experience, where it's more like, oh gosh, things aren't so great. I have to return to God. God, please help me. Please forgive me. Please remove my sin. You have those two elements going on with Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And that could be why we read this around that time. And really the main goal is to get, and how I understand the process is like this. Rosh Hashanah, you're trying to instill values within yourself. Right? Maybe you're not really there. But you're trying to say, this is where I want to be. I want to know that God's king and I want to follow God. But when it comes down to reality, that's really Yom Kippur and the 10 days of tshuva. Where you realize, I'm not completely there, but I'm going to try to get there. And then the final goal is when you get past Yom Kippur, you come to Sukkot, and you're living in a place of trust and connection to God. It's kind of like a process, a 3-step process. You're fake it till you make it, kind of Rosh Hashanah. Yom Kippur, doing the work, and 10 days tshuva, and then Sukkot actually entering into faith and trust in God.